Well, let's shift focus to mutual fund world. Pavitra is standing by the big wall with some interesting data on asset ownership and scheme contribution trends. Pavitra, over to you.
Thanks a lot for that. Well, we have been going through the mutual fund data, and while there is a steady rise in the total assets managed, we have picked up some interesting trends. So first, just the broad numbers are going to be up on your screen. So the total assets managed this month came in at 40.5 crores. This is for November of this year, and this is a 5.1% rise over what we saw in November of last year. That's November of 2021. So over here, the assets were at 38.45 trillion. Now comes the interesting part. Assets held by individual investors have increased more than 10.5% in this period. So we have a figure of 23.34 lakh crores. This is for November of this year versus the 21 lakh crores that we saw in November 2021. Compare this to what is happening to assets held by institutions, because the trend is quite the opposite. So institutions held 17.36 lakh crores in November of last year, and this has actually slipped to around 17.15 lakh crores. So while individual investments are on the rise, assets held by institutions have declined 1.2% versus last year. There you have that divergent trend. Another interesting trend is that equity scheme contribution to total assets has been going up. So you have the chart on your screen, and like you can see, the contribution was at 48%. This is in last year, and that has been moving higher, and now it is currently at 51.7%. Now, if you look at the contribution coming in from debt schemes, you're seeing the opposite trend play out once again. So the debt scheme contribution is down from 28.5% last year, and it has slipped to around 19% now. So the current pie, if you look at it, has a large, almost 50% chunk from equity schemes. You have 19% from debt, and the rest is, of course, ETFs, FOFs, liquid funds, all of that. So to wrap up, the key trends that we're picking up is that the total AUM is rising for the industry, but assets held by individual investors are rising, but those held by institutions have actually come down. The third sort of trend that we want to point out is that equity scheme contribution is rising, but debt scheme contribution, on the other hand, has been slowly coming down. With that, guys, it's back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pavitra, for that. Very helpful there. A snapshot of what's happening in the mutual fund industry. Let's slip into a quick break. We'll get more on the equity markets on the other side. Stay tuned.